All right, we're going to get started. Good evening. Today is March 6, 2017. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Would you please stand for the opening prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance?
Lord, we're meeting here tonight to conduct matters of business. Guide our hearts and our minds in the spirit of fairness, right thought, and speech. Impart your supreme wisdom upon our activities so that our affairs may reach a successful conclusion. Lord, we pray for those who have been devastated by the recent tragedy in our community. We remember Brady Morris, who lost his life so suddenly. We hold in our hearts the families forever changed by this grief and loss. Bring them consolation and comfort. Surround them with our prayers for strength. Bless those who have survived to heal their memories of this trauma and devastation. May they have the courage to face the days ahead. We ask this in your holy name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please. Dick.
Wait 20 seconds.
As he's squeaking in.
What's up, buddy?
There.
What's up?
Lorraine,
Here.
Shoemaker, Mathis,
Here.
Krug is present, Kessler,
Here.
Gopal,
Here.
Tucker.
Present.
You have a full board.
Okay. Mark, thank you for that lovely prayer. And to the members of tonight's audience, this program is being televised. We have 3 cameras in each corner. So if you want to come up and speak, you can come up and speak at the podium. But you can give your name and address, but you don't have to, you can give your name, but you don't have to give your address. Excuse me a minute. Are there any requests requests to amend tonight's agenda? This is terrible. None? Okay. I need a motion in order to approve the agenda as presented.
So move.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Lorraine,
Yes.
Shoemaker,
Yes.
I vote yes, Kessler,
Yes.
Mathis,
Yes.
Tucker,
Yes.
Gopal.
Yes.
Minutes are approved.
Okay. Included in the packet are the minutes from February 13th special meeting and the February 20th regular meeting and the March 1st master plan workshop meeting. Are there any corrections or request revisions from the meeting minutes?
Can I ask that we just pull the special minute meetings aside? I need to talk to Jack about a particular issue that affects the minutes.
Sure.
I just haven't had a chance to do that
You-
yet. I could probably trail him after we're done if somebody's in a hurry to have them approved for any particular reason.
Here, do you want that and let him look at it while it's...
Well, he wasn't here, so I'll have to explain it to him.
Okay.
He was here early and then left. I just need to talk to him about an issue about a particular language thing. So
Good.
if everybody's
Just
all
give
right with
you
that, just hold on to that. Well,
We just move next time.
yeah. That's okay anyway.
All right. Expenditures. Are there any questions in front of you regarding any of the expenditures?
Need to move
Well, the other minutes I'm okay with, it's just that special meeting.
Just the special meeting?
Yeah,
Okay.
just that special
All
meeting.
right.
You wanna
I
do-
need,
you wanna move the other ones? Yeah.
yeah, I need approval to pass the meeting special, not the special meeting, but the February 3rd, that's the special meeting. February 20th regular meeting and March 1st master plan workshop.
You can move.
I'll move.
Do I have a second? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are carried. Motion. Expenditures. Are there any questions regarding any of the invoices?
So I want to know, did you just go buy a envelope folder because I mistakenly said the jaws of life were an envelope folder last week? I mean, that was,
No, your timing was just off by one meeting.
so I was prescient.
The old one died. We got some prices and bought a refurbished one.
And this is a straight purchase.
Yes,
Come with a warranty at all?
yes.
What are they new? I don't, I mean, it's-
When,
And
about 16?
9,000, 10,000?
Yeah. Are there any other questions in regards to any of the other bills? None? Okay. A motion is in order to approve the expenditures totaling $585,799.19 for payment. Do I have a second?
Support.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
I vote yes. Mathis.
Yes.
Kessler.
Yes.
Shoemaker.
Yes.
Gopel.
Yes.
Tucker.
Yes.
Lorraine.
yes.
Motion passes.
Okay. Public hearings, none. Reports, are there any committee reports to be made to the board? None. Communications, none. This is the adoption of ordinances, rezoning of R17-001 Ridgeway White parcel 0623530026, vacant land on Grove Park Road from R3 to Ag with conditions. This is the second reading of this zoning ordinance amendment to rezone this vacant land. I'm going to have some board discussion on it, but Mr. Wright came to us from, with other conditions from what I understand. Right, Mr. Wright? You brought a letter to the operations manager, Tom?
I'm the Ridgeway White, Fenton, Michigan,
Pardon me?
resident of Fenton, Michigan. So I didn't, I called up Val and asked her, I said, what's the formal process? I said, you know, we've talked about conditions, what is there something that gets recorded? And so she asked me to fill out a statement of conditions. So I filled that out between the last meeting and today. The statement of conditions is a, notarized document that lists the, I don't know if you guys get a copy of it.
We all have that in your packet, right?
Yeah, and
What-
so basically, I just pulled the language from the letter submitted on February 10th, 2017 to Val, which was, a long letter about Apple Fest and things, but it says, my intent is to create a small-scale orchard. Therefore, I'm willing to agree to changing the zoning to agricultural on a conditional basis for the primary purpose of an orchard. I'm further willing to limit commercial farming activities to exclude livestock. And so I took that language, had my attorney try to boil it down very simply to the primary. So I put the second primary farming activity would be an orchard. The land will further be restricted to limit commercial farming activities to exclude livestock.
I do have some questions on that, but I'm going to ask Mr. Tucker, because of being on the planning commission, when it's brought to us for first reading, then when it's brought to us on second reading, alteration shouldn't be made.
Right, yeah, generally what happens, even at the planning commission level, we are not in a conditional zoning situation allowed to dictate conditions. The applicant is supposed to bring you the conditions to the planning commission meeting, and you vote thumbs up or thumbs down based on what they give you. That's
Yes.
the usual drill. This has been a little bit different in the sense that the conditions weren't really presented until the time of the meeting. If you recall, I said the concern, I think, from the planning commission standpoint had to do with animals on the property, and at that point in time, Mr. White said no animals, and that kind of actually stopped the discussion, because at that point, all he was proposing to do was plant some trees and have a pole barn, and everybody in the audience is in favor of that, because that's kind of cool.
Yes,
What I've heard and what I'm concerned with is there's been a little backing away from, or at least perceived by me to be backing away from the no animals restriction. I'm not sure what livestock means, and that's why I'm kind of consulting my friend Google here to see, if we're talking about animals in general, or exactly what livestock is. I'm not really sure, but yes, it appears to me there's been some movement in the language, a little bit concerned about that, based
Okay.
on the way it played out at the planning commission.
Okay.
Yeah, and if I can speak to that, you know, it was a little confusing because I did say, yeah, you know, maybe we wouldn't have animals. And, but then the planning commission directed several questions to me, like, oh, would the person in the audience ask that said, would that prohibit me from walking my Labrador on the property? And, you know, I sort of said, you know, that's trespassing, but, you know, I'm not gonna go out with a gun, you know. So planning commission heard that, and then I believe Mr. Tucker, you asked me, you said, we're not gonna, you know, knock you can't have, you know, you could have dogs and cats. So I said, I went to my attorney and asked him, I said, well, what's the appropriate language here? And he said, well, what do they want? I said, well, they don't want pig farming, they don't want, you know, big dairy things, they don't want commercial operations on the property. That's really what they're trying to protect the residents from. And so therefore, he suggested to me that you say, you limit the, to commercial livestock. And that really, you know, waylays all the fears of the community, because you're not creating a giant, you know, I'm not gonna have you know, what's the bird flu that's going on right now, right? There's this bird flu outbreak, you know, I'm not gonna have a giant chicken farm, you know, there that everybody's nervous that they're gonna get, you know, avian bird flu or whatever it is. So.
John, can I ask what livestock, what animals you're concerned about?
Well, I mean, pretty much any kind of farm animal. We actually had a specific discussion about horses because Mr. White said, well, because when we said no animals, he said, well, then you, planning commission, will be the excuse. When my daughter asks me for a horse, I'll tell her, you know, we can't have it because of you.
Right.
So
Right.
I was just kind of looking, you know, what our good friends at the Cambridge English Dictionary thing. Animals kept on a farm such as cows, sheep, chickens, and pigs. One of the other definitions does include horses within that. That's my concern, is it's not a, I don't know if we need to be more specific, but that's anything with sound or smell.
Well, you got a horse farm just to the east of them, don't you? Or to
Not
the west
Yeah,
of 'em?
across Torrey Road.
Yeah.
And there was a proposal 10 years ago to
Yeah,
bring
just-
that across Torrey Road, and the neighbors came out in droves against it.
Right.
And
I have
they-
2 goats living across the street from me now.
Yeah, I've heard that rumor.
Yeah. See, what my concern is, and I would say this to anyone, if you come up in a first reading for this board, now you had gone to the planning commission and they said there was quite a few people, quite a few residents that was at that meeting. They were so happy that it was gonna be an apple orchard.
Right.
So at that meeting, Ridgeway, I asked, is it going to be an apple orchard only? I purposely said that, and you said yes. So if I believe that it should go back to planning, let all these people come back, because they were happy, they were very happy. But now you've totally changed it, and not because it's you, anybody else. I'm not gonna vote on something that I would have voted on this time, but when you change it, it's, to me, it's gotta go back.
The stuff that I'm seeing on the definition of livestock connotes for sale for profit. So if you just say livestock, if you say, this horse isn't for profit, this is for pleasure, this goat isn't for profit, it's for pleasure, this pig is a lovely, adorable pig, it's not for profit. That's my concern with moving the terminology from where we were at when we were talking about before, because at the planning commission level it was clear, no animals.
But we just need people to come back and voice their opinion on it.
Can't we just keep it what it's zoned and then just give them a special use or something like that to put an apple farm on there?
Well, we were going to be voting on an apple farm tonight.
That's what, no, what I'm saying is, can't we just keep it zoned what it is? He just wants an apple farm, that's all he wants to do. So can't we just keep it zoned what it is, stick with the master plan, and tell him,
Well, it's zoned R3, so if Ridgeway wanted to, he could go in and build 50 houses.
Well, you
So-
can do that now.
Absolutely.
But what you're talking about is a use variance, and those aren't permitted here, so you can't do that. That's why the whole idea of conditional zoning was used, because, you know, personally, I will never vote for just straight ag in a residential area. There's too many
You're right.
things that can go wrong there. So conditional zoning of ag with conditions, that can work. And what we were originally presented with was a perfect example of that. You got, I think what he wants is to be able to construct a larger storage structure, pole barn, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
Barn, that you wouldn't be able to do in our R3. If you wanted to sell any of the apples or whatever fruits, then.
It's gonna be a commercial barn where cars can drive up and kind of a Mueller's Orchard type of a parking lot with a barn. They can go in the barn and buy
Could be,
bee
yeah,
honey and different apples and cider.
could be.
Could be, yeah, could be.
But you can't get any of that in R3 because you can't get a
Right.
use variance for that. So
Right,
that's
and,
kinda
and
why
my original letter was, the staff suggested that you should put a condition, so I said no more than 25 animals of any one species at that time, so, but we did at the first public hearing, which was
Yeah,
last time.
yeah.
Nothing's changed since then.
Jack, what is your opinion?
Well, I guess rather than everybody trying to guess what Mr. White means by no commercial farm animals, let him tell you what it is, if those conditions are appropriate. I mean, from what I'm gathering here, I'm hearing like if he says, well, no animals other than cats and dogs or something, it'd probably be okay. I don't know that everybody's on the same page.
I'll tell you why, Jack, because unless we have, and I'm all for dropping down to ag. Everybody on this board knows that. It's not a shock. But we've had people come in and say they're gonna do something on a piece of property, and when they got it approved the next day.
Oh,
they
but
went-
no, this would be the conditional zoning, so it's just a matter of clarifying that and wording that in
In
the
writing.
ordinance. So and I'm not suggesting one thing or another, but by way of example, if it were Mr. White just wanted to have cats and dogs and parakeets, then he'd put that would be the conditions, that would be
Yes.
part of the zoning.
It's in writing,
So
yeah.
that means only his neighbor has goats and he doesn't. Then
If it
it's
gives
clear,
me
if
the
everybody's
address,
on the
I'll
same
take
page,
care of
but if
that.
you're not, then probably the best thing to do is send it back to the planning
Planning
commission.
commission.
But maybe you're all on the same page and maybe you're not, but you haven't really heard from Mr. White what he intends by that, other than a description.
Right. Yeah, I mean, my intent is not to limit it so that I don't have, a major commercial operation of, things like that. Would this allow flexibility? Yeah, it would. It would allow for my daughter, if 10 years from now she wants a horse, she could. So you're right, that does change that. But it seemed like it fit the essence of what the committee was trying to do.
And again, the more, on conditional zoning, the more specificity, the better. So if it's a horse, that may be okay. If it's 3 horses, it may not be okay. I mean, you can have whatever conditions are presented to you, you can pass upon them, but you can't, the board can't be dictating conditions. That's 100% up to the applicant. You
Mr.
can
White?
rezone it without conditions, but if there's gonna be conditions, they have to all come from the applicant.
Okay.
Would you feel more comfortable going back to legal and having them draft something different? Or is it something that you would like to? Because I think the language that the board's looking at now is quite open.
Right. Well, I think it's clear, but I guess the question is, I mean, you're right. I didn't hear from
See,
anybody.
there's nobody here.
There was nobody here at that. There was nobody here at the previous reading at the planning commission. Every single person that came out was in favor of this. The one person that I thought was against it suggested bees. They called me this week and said, did you get that done? They called me for another reason. They said, did it get done? And I said, no, not yet. It's still going forward. And I said, but, we're not going to have bees on it. She goes, well, I didn't want you not to have bees. I went to Applewood and I learned about endangered species of bees, and I'm a gardener, and da-da-da-da. I said, oh, my God. Well, so, it's a little loose on the thing, you know. In my mind, if I go back to the Planning and Zoning Commission, I'd stick with these conditions as a condition.
I didn't hear what you said.
If we go back to the planning, I would be more clear.
Yes.
I've got a written document here.
Absolutely, Ridgway.
I would keep it primary, I would keep what's written.
Yeah. then it's
And which allows some flexibility for use in the future.
Yeah.
Which I think is appropriate, and I don't think anybody's gonna be upset about it. I do think if I came in here and went to develop a subdivision tomorrow, you'd have a full room.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. No, I'm not opposed to it all. But I just know that it's different than what we read. And the residents have the right to be able to hear what you want to do now. And then we post it in the paper, that's all. But Mr. Tucker, being on the planning commission, you suggested that it should go back.
Well, we
to
would
the
have,
commission,
we would have had much more extensive discussions
If you thought.
if we knew there were gonna be any animals.
Yeah.
You know, we would have, it'd be an exclusionary list or an approved list of X number of this or that. I'm not saying that, everybody's opposed to all animals in all circumstances. What I'm saying is it was made easy when it was presented to us as no animals. And if
Absolutely.
it's anything other than no animals, then we need to iron that terminology out.
Just the wording.
so
Yeah,
that
and
we know.
I apologize for the confusion, but it, you know, there were questions about Labradors, and so, you know, we were talking, and things are kind of messy when you're talking, and, you know, when it comes down to written, what I presented on February 10th, which was given the day after the planning commission to Val, or a day or two later, I think it was a weekend, but, you know, go ahead.
For this conditional zoning that he's going to bring to the board, and not the other way around, can it become more restrictive than what R3 is now?
Oh, sure.
Well, I mean, because in R3, you can have 50 subdivisions, each with 3 dogs, 4 rabbits, you know what I mean? So, I mean.
2 goats.
If he wants to do a subdivision, he doesn't even,
He doesn't
all
I
the residents.
understand that, what my
all the
point
residents
is.
don't get any input
My
on it.
point is, I get that,
Yeah.
but my point is, this is so much less potential than what he could do it now. I don't want to give him such a hard time that he says, I'll build this up.
Yeah. Years ago, and there still is horses out here. There is. I was raised out here. I had a horse. There was horses on Lock Haven Point, polo fields, the whole thing. I'm not against horses. Then when, Mark, when you asked about the farm across on Torrey Road, like John said, they were keeping horses there for a while. And then they took them to Florida for the winter months. Then the neighbors went after them because they said there was a lapse of time. And so they almost did away with the horses. And they might come back this year, I don't know. But I loved seeing the horses. I mean, I do.
Well, same as Fenton Road at the curve.
Mhm.
I mean, it's a lot.
Mhm.
This is
So-
woods.
Well, it depends on who you talk to, you know,
Of course,
in
you're
the
village,
situation the Bang's talking about, people came in by the droves complaining about the smell and the runoff into the lake. You know, everybody's got their perspective, but we shut all that down at the planning commission because there was no animals. There wasn't any discussion about what would be a good idea, or how many cats is too many, or how many dogs is too many, or how many horses.
I guess if we're talking about taking away this guy on Torrey Road's potential to farm because his horses aren't there for a week or 6 months.
Whatever, but it was
what-
such a group of
okay,
people, yeah.
a year.
Yeah.
If you don't want a horse for 10 years,
Well, all it is what John is saying, it's just gotta go back to planning. Present it to planning, planning will recommend it to us, we go
I
through.
just asked the planning commission to have a little open-mindedness.
Oh, I don't think there's closed-mindedness.
Yeah, I don't-
We just never
I think
had
it's
the
fine.
discussion.
I'm not actually
Yeah.
you per se, but.
No, I think as a group, you know, I didn't take it as directed to me personally, but as a group, I mean, we just shut it down, and the whole point of that
And that's
meeting
true.
is to have a public hearing on it. And we didn't get into any of that, we just didn't, so, because it was rendered moot by the condition that we thought we were addressing at that time.
Well, I guess I would agree with Trustee Gopal in the sense that I think what Ridgway is saying is that you're going to come back with the same language that we were presented with this evening, correct?
No, he's gonna add.
No,
No.
I would come back with this language that's presented.
So my question to you is, I guess, right now, it doesn't sound like that's gonna pass muster.
I'm one, and it would depend on what, resident input, but I am concerned about the ambiguity of the term livestock. I wouldn't want anyone to be able to argue that if it's not for commercial resale, that I can have as many of whatever I want, because I'm not gonna sell them.
Well, I mean, what makes the Oxford definition the?
Nothing, but that's why you have the hearing.
Look at 4-H, and I'm sure there's probably a different.
Yeah.
That's why the language, that's why we need to not be doing what we're doing tonight, is trying to
You're
figure
right.
out what the language means.
And we can't do that.
We need to go back, we need to have a public hearing so people can say, all right, there might be animals here.
All right.
Let's,
Yeah.
Who's in favor of what, and then, again, as Jack pointed out, we're left to either thumbs up or thumbs down what Mr. White proposes. That's what the options are, so. But we need to flesh it out with what people think, both the planning commission, the residents, and ultimately this board.
Do you want to make a motion then, and we'll get going on the rest of the?
Okay, sure. I will make a motion that we, let me get to the right number here, that we send application number R17001 back to the planning commission for review of the current terms and conditions submitted by the applicant.
All right, do I have a second?
Support.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Okay. Mathis,
Yes.
Kessler,
Yes.
Gopel,
No.
Tucker,
Yes.
Lorraine,
No.
Shoemaker.
Yes.
I also say yes.
Okay, motion is carried. All right. When is the next meeting then?
Well,
Thursday.
Oh,
But we're
she
gonna have
can't
to
post it.
No, we're gonna have to renotice, so we
Yeah.
have public, so it'll be,
April,
well, take a look.
March, April, yeah.
March is
This is March, will be second Thursday in April is lucky 13. April 13th.
April 13th, okay. All right, unfinished business none, new business, resolution number. Sir, I didn't ask for any public comment on that. Did you want to? No, ma'am. Oh, okay. New business, resolution number 2017-05, nonprofit designation. This is Carmen Cougar Charities Corporation. Operation Manager Tom Broker, would you please present the resolution?
Yes, this is a request from a 501c3 charitable organization. Their primary purpose is to benefit students in the Carmen Ainsworth School District. Mark Barton is here today. He is the president of the organization. He also happens to be a Fenton Township resident. And when they were preparing the paperwork to apply to the state for their charitable gaming license, it came to light that because Mr. Barton's address is the organization's address, then Fenton Township must grant the resolution of support. We did one very similar to this a couple years ago for the Grassi Baseball Club.
Yes.
For the exact same reason, that their address was in Fenton Township. So included in the packet is some information about the group and the work that they do. Mr. Barton was kind enough to get this to us on very short notice so we could get it in the packet. And then we've got a resolution prepared using the language required by the state for them to be recognized as a charitable organization to get that license.
I have disclosure, one of my partners is on this board. I don't know
I'm Carmen?
what his position is, yeah, but he's very active in it. I don't perceive it to be a conflict of interest, but
No.
I want to make everyone aware of it, just so that he can't be flogged with it.
Okay. Any board discussion?
No.
Oh, all right, resolution number 2017-05. Clerk Krug, would you please present the resolution?
Yes, thank you. Whereas the Carmen Cougar Charity Corporation is a 501c3 charitable organization whose mission is to improve the educational opportunities and environments for students in the Carmen Ainsworth School District in Genesee County. And whereas the Carmen Cougar Charities Corporation wishes to obtain a charitable gaming license from the Michigan Bureau of State Lottery for the purpose of conducting fundraising activities, and whereas in order to obtain said license, the local municipality must adopt a resolution supporting the request. Now therefore be it resolved by the Township Board of the Charter Township of Fenton that the request from the Carmen Cougars Charity Corporation of Fenton Township, County of Genesee, asking that they be recognized as a nonprofit organization operating in the community for the purpose of obtaining a charitable gaming license to be considered for approval. I'll move the resolution.
Do I have a second? Okay, any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Shoemaker,
Yes.
Gopel.
Yes.
Tucker,
Yes.
Kessler,
Yes.
Lorraine.
Yes.
I vote yes. Mathis.
Yes.
Resolution passes.
All right, in your package, you have Genesee County Bar Association proclamation date, this, for 2017, the 14th Amendment.
May I just say one thing real quick?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
I just wanted to thank you for, first of all, for approving it. I also, Mr. Roper gave me a little nod on the head for getting it quickly. I would like to thank him. We were in a jam. We had this all delivered to Flint Township, because that's where Carmen High School is.
Uh-huh.
We got a phone call saying that they had contacted the gaming commission and were told, because of my address, it had to go through you. I called him not until Thursday after the agenda was technically set, and he agreed that if I could get him information before noon, he would get it on this agenda. So I want to thank Mr. Dover for
Yes, he
his
did.
diligence in making this happen. I want to thank all of you for acknowledging us and allowing us to continue to do work for the students in Carmen Angel School District. So
Yes.
thank you very much.
You're welcome. We're proud to do it.
I didn't mean to interrupt, but I wanted to make sure you all know how much we appreciate
I should have asked if you wanted to say anything.
That's okay. My last thing, and I'll actually dismiss myself if that's okay. Do I still see you tomorrow, Tom, then to pick up paperwork?
Absolutely.
With that, I will let you go back to business. Thank you all so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
Treasurer Tucker, would you like to explain this law day?
Sure.
We do this every year.
Yeah, every year this comes along, and I probably tell the same story every year, so if you get bored of it, just raise your hand and I'll Okay. That's three, there's a quorum. There's a majority. The local bar association does try to encourage high school students to get involved with the Constitution and legal issues. So every year, teams from around the county are formed, they give them a problem set, and obviously it's a scenario that you can argue both sides. The local circuit court judges actually sit in their robes, and it's fun.
Fun to see.
The kids make evidentiary objections. They have no idea what they're doing, but they have lawyers that work with them to kind of train them and teach them. And some of them, it's very superficial, and they get to the the main big policy issues. Some of them get hyper technical. It's a really good experience, I think, for all of them. They take them out and feed them. And as I'm sure I've mentioned, my son, who's now in his 5th year of working with me, I think got started on law direction in front of Judge Beagle on one of these things. So maybe that's the reason we don't know for it, I don't know, but it's been around for a long, long time.
Is there any other board discussion in regards to this?
Yeah.
I was just
gonna say,
wondering
I'm
since
not Clerk Krug tonight.
I was
Yeah.
just wondering, since it's every year we do this, can we just make it a revolving one and just keep it?
Oh, no, I
Every
think,
year.
seeing you are
Tired of my
a
story.
member of the
No,
bar,
not as much as every time
I
Bob has
would
to
think
read this.
Mr. Tucker should,
Oh, you want
Read
him
this.
to read the resolution? All right,
or make an abbreviated
It's
resolution.
actually not that bad.
all right, this is 2017 Law Day Proclamation. Treasurer Tucker, would you please like to read the proclamation?
Certainly, whereas Law Day is an occasion of public acknowledgement of our nation's and state's heritage of justice, liberty, and equality under the law, and whereas the United States Congress has statutorily designated May 1st as an annual day for commemoration of Law Day, and whereas the American Bar Association has designated the 2017 Law Day theme to be the 14th Amendment, transforming American democracy, in recognition of the numerous contributions of American law and society of one of the most cited constitutional enactments, and whereas the 14th Amendment in
The nearly century and a half that has elapsed since its ratification has greatly expanded the constitutional protections available to all through its clauses guaranteeing due process and equal protection. And whereas the 14th Amendment has served as the vehicle by which many of the protections of the Bill of Rights have been found to be enforceable against state and local governments' actions that infringe upon fundamental liberties, and whereas the 14th Amendment constitutionally defined national citizenship for the first time and guaranteed that the privileges or immunities of the United States citizenship would not be denied to any individual citizen, and whereas the 14th Amendment has served as the basis and inspiration for landmark civil rights legislation and court decisions protecting and advancing the rights of Americans, and whereas the promoting public understanding of the roots of our freedom is an important component in the civic education of the citizens of the United States and of the state of Michigan, now therefore be it resolved that the Township Board, wake up, the Charter Township of Fenton does hereby proclaim May 1st, 2017 as Law Day. We urge the people of Fenton Township and all of Genesee County to acknowledge the importance of our legal and judicial systems with appropriate ceremonies and activities, and to display the flags of the United States and state of Michigan in support of this educational observance. We further encourage schools, businesses, media, religious institutions, civic and service organizations to join the members of the Bar Association bench in commemorating Law Day. This proclamation was adopted by the Charter Township and Fenton Board of Trustees at its regular meeting duly called and held on the 6th day of March 2017. I shall move.
Support.
Oh, there's more.
Oh,
I missed
Page
something at
2.
the start. Could you read it again?
Be resolved as
So glad Bob didn't.
highly advised that our, no, this is consumers, I did, okay, I moved it. You're taking consumers, all right?
All right, so did you make your motion?
I moved.
I supported it.
Supported. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Goble,
Yes.
Tucker,
Yes.
Lorraine,
Yes.
I vote yes. Mathis,
Yes.
Shoemaker,
Yes.
Kessler,
Yes.
Motion is carried. Resolution number 2017-06, authorization for changes to Consumers Energy street lighting contract. Each year, Consumers Energy requires an updated resolution that designates township officials to authorize changes to the street lighting contract. Such a resolution has been prepared for the board's consideration. Is there any board discussion? You have this in your packet.
So this is an annual data who can sign? That's all it is? Right.
Yep. All right. Resolution number 2017-6. Clerk Crew, would you present the resolution?
you want this one, John?
Yeah, you take the easy one.
Be it resolved that there is hereby deemed advisable to authorize Consumers Energy to make changes in the street lighting service as provided in the standard street lighting contract between Consumers Energy and the Charter Township of Fenton dated February 1st, 2016, in accordance with the authorizations for change in the standard street light contract executed by the Charter Township of Fenton during the calendar year of 2017. Be it further resolved that the township supervisor and the township clerk be and are authorized to execute such authorizations for change on behalf of the Charter Township of Fenton. I'll move the resolution.
Do I have support? Second, please.
Support.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion is carried. All right. This is a proposed renewal of the Uniform Video Service Local Franchise Agreement. This is for Charter Communication Operation Manager Tom Broker. Would you please explain?
Yes, included in the packet is a completed Uniform Video Service Local Franchise Agreement for Charter Communications in Fenton Charter Township. It in effect is a 10-year renewal of the agreement that is going to expire in May. Back in 2006, the state adopted a new law that effectively eliminated all negotiations for franchise agreements and put in place a standard form where you fill in a couple of blanks and approve it. So there's not a whole lot of, it's basically the exact same agreement we did 10 years ago. Just renewing for another 10 years.
Is there any board discussion in regards to
Can we
this?
negotiate the fee for our residents?
We're already at the top.
Yeah, he means the monthly fee for services, yeah, that would be nice, but.
Well, we do get the 5% that's
Yeah, I was gonna say, the
added
5%
on.
is
We get
negotiable.
that.
That is a
That's what I'm
tax.
saying, is
We
the
can write in
5%.
anything we want.
Well, you can write in 0 to 5, is what you can write in.
Right.
But we've chosen 5 here?
Yeah.
See 'em?
And that is a direct tax to our
I know it is.
residents.
I'm just gonna let you know, I'm a no vote on that.
You're a no vote on
No,
that
I'm
one?
not, no, I don't wanna do that to people.
What number
Yeah,
do you wanna
Kate,
go?
But now, you're,
Oh, it's up to me?
Well, Sean, you get to just remember the PEG grant money too, the
That's
2%. So
I've
it's
voted
actually a
no on the PEG grant
7%.
The last 3 years, guys, I'm not a fan of it, I really, the school should be able to handle that themselves. Not that senior citizen who's living on social security has no to little increase in income. So, I'm sorry.
No,
No,
you don't have
that's
to be.
fine.
I just wish that I could prove that if I said we reduce the fee by 5%, that the bill will reduce by 5%.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that I do not believe that will happen. And I don't know.
Well, no, they would
Maybe
have
we
to.
could-
I'm sorry.
No,
Go
he's
ahead.
saying something else could pop up in
Yeah,
the same amount.
something else is gonna go up.
5%.
yeah.
I don't know about your
Don't
bill.
they have to go to the FCC for a raise in rates?
No. In fact, I'm about ready to have that phone call with them. Because it used to be that you could be off their deal for a couple months and they put you right back on their deal. They don't do that anymore. So you gotta vote with your wallet is what you have to vote with these days.
Then maybe we as a board, we should think about that.
And
Oh,
I will tell you right now, sitting here today, 10 years from now, we're all gonna be streaming, we're not gonna be looking at cable, so.
You're right.
This is
You're
gonna
right.
solve itself before the term of this agreement is over.
Yeah.
Right, Hannah? You a streamer? Okay.
Netflix, you do Netflix, right? There you go.
Is there any other board discussion? All right, a motion to approve the Uniform Video Service Local Franchise Agreement with Charter Communication as presented.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Support.
Further discussion? Roll call, please.
Lorraine,
No.
Mathis,
Yes.
Kessler,
Yes.
Gopel,
Yes.
Tucker,
Yes.
Shoemaker.
No.
I vote yes.
Okay, motion's carried. Now, in your package, you have proposed local road project, Hogan Road, gravel resurfacing Laring to Smith Road. I don't know if any of you drove down that road, but it is in dire need. Genesee County Road has provided a cost estimate for gravel resurfacing of Hogan Road between Laring and Smith. The total cost is estimated at $31,614.14. After applying for the 50-50 matching funds, the township's final estimate cost is $15,807.07. This is one of the roads that was discussed in the January road hearing. Tom, I got the Hogan Road one, and then on Friday, I had 2 other ones that came in cost. But remember, I had said,
Those were the ones we're doing with CD money.
Okay.
The paved intersection
not
approaches.
50-50?
No.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
so just to clarify, you said repaving, we're not paving.
Resurfacing, regraveling.
Okay,
Yeah. We never will be able to.
No.
Never, never,
It'd
never.
be nice if we could repay for $15,000. I'd probably
Absolutely.
vote a lot of those through.
No, I wish we could too. The people sure would love it. Any other board discussion in regards
I
to it?
assume this is the amount budgeted, Tom, or within the budget?
It's actually less than we were expecting.
Less than the budget.
Mhm. We've been working on this one for a while. They did do ditching on Hogan Road, and that's gonna help it, and then we'll come in with the gravel. All right, a motion to approve the gravel resurfacing for Hogan Road from Laring Road to Smith Road as presented.
So moved.
Any further discussion?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Kessler,
Yes.
Gopel,
Yes.
I vote yes. Shoemaker.
Yes.
Lorraine,
Yes.
Mathis.
Yes.
Tucker,
Yes.
motion passes.
All right, Fenton Township Road Improvement Plans. You have that in front of you also. It looks, do you have it on your screen? Yep, John's got it, okay. We have to give a 3-year plan. Now it is 2017 through 2019. Lawrence Engineering has created this update along with Tom Broker and myself and our superintendent, Dan Hudson. And so this is what the prices are. The roads that are going to be in 217 are Hogan Road, Old Linden Road, and this, I won't tell you from where to where, Butcher Road, Thompson Road. In 2018, Fairbanks. And again, Hogan Road, different location. And the last one is Odell Road and Ray Road. Is there any board discussion in regards to those?
I have an issue with those. I thought I saw an email flying around that said we needed to add Ripley to the, either the 17 or 18 future. Does anybody know anything about that? It was from Alan
They've
Lawrence.
they've talked about Ripley, yes. But I don't know,
We
I
just,
don't
we just resurfaced our part of Ripley in 2010 from
Okay.
from Ralston to Laring.
All right.
Everything south of there is City of Linden right of way.
No, I get it, and they're the ones that need to have the discussion, but I just was wondering what that
something was
email was
said,
about.
John.
Yeah.
But
Okay,
I
nobody
don't
knows,
know.
well, that's fine, I'll just check with Alan and see what that was about.
All right. Anything on board comment? Are there any comments from the members of the board?
We didn't act.
But we gotta move on this.
We gotta take action
Oh,
on it.
I'm sorry. A motion to approve the Fenton Township Road Improvement Plan 2017 through 2019 update as presented.
So move.
Second.
Further discussion? Roll call, please.
I vote yes. Kessler,
Yes.
Shoemaker,
Yes.
Lorraine,
Yes.
Mathis.
Yes.
Tucker,
Yes.
Gopel.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right. Are there any other comments from the members of the board?
Tomorrow night is the Thompson Road.
Yes.
Public meeting.
Wednesday.
A Wednesday night
Wednesday,
at
sorry.
6 o'clock.
Yeah, 6 o'clock here. Can anybody tell me, I am so scheduled at night this week, is this just an informational thing?
From the
It's
road
more
commission.
for the local businesses and residents.
Just to know what's going on?
To give them an idea of what to expect during construction and the timing, and so it is for everybody. I think Roe and the road commission are putting it on jointly.
But there isn't gonna be any voting or suggestions, this is just an information conveyance thing?
Yes.
Okay, well, I recommend everybody come, but I'm busy this week. Really busy this week.
You'll be here covering that, won't you? Wednesday's meeting?
Hannah, would you come up to the microphone?
We'll try and warn you. Are you gonna be here Wednesday night at 6? Thompson Road thing.
The widening of Thompson Road.
Maybe? She's busy too.
I'll be at church. I want that on the record.
Church?
Yes.
You got a double down line? Been particularly bad?
No, it's our Lenten service.
Ah.
Everyone,
Did you go? So
everybody does that.
did you go to the Palace Mark?
All right.
You're gonna.
Is there any other board discussion on anything? If from the public, no. I will say good evening. The meeting's adjourned.
Yes, I did.